call this subcommittee to order. I'm State Representative Stephen Holt, Chair of Judiciary and Chair of the subcommittee. We're here to consider House Study Bill 41, which is a joint resolution proposing an amendment to the Iowa Constitution that would read as follows. To defend and protect unborn children, we the people of the state of Iowa declare that this Constitution does not recognize, grant, or secure a right to abortion or require the public funding of abortion. Joining me on the subcommittee are Representatives Osmundson and Representative Wessel-Kroeschell. We were going to alternate speakers for and against. At this time, we only have 4 signed up. However, there are hundreds of comments for and against online, which of course anyone can access, the public and representatives can access and review. I will allow around a minute for each individual to speak, at which time we will move on to the next speaker. A couple of things: when you come up to speak, you will come up to this podium right here. You'll see the microphone there. There are 2 buttons. The button on the right, as you're looking at it, that has a little person on it, is the button you hit to speak. And when you're done speaking, it should turn green. When you're done speaking, you punch that button again to turn it off. So that's the only button you need to worry about, the one that looks like a little human. It's on the right of the system. It's a new system we have this year. At the end of the public comment, I will give the opportunity to the representatives on the subcommittee to speak. This subcommittee will end promptly at 09:30 because we have another subcommittee after that. So at this time, we will begin the public comments. And again, remember, there's hundreds of comments online as well for folks to review. First speaker up, Maggie DeWitt.
My name is Maggie DeWitt, and I'm the Executive Director of Iowans for Life and the spokesman for the Coalition of Pro-Life Leaders. I'm speaking to you this morning in support of HSB 41. Thank you for bringing this amendment forward, and doing so quickly in the session shows your true commitment to the protection of Iowans. I believe the people of Iowa and not unelected judges of the state Supreme Court should decide how Iowa regulates abortion. These radical judges took the rights away from all Iowans, and thereby preventing common sense protections for women and children. What these judges did was even more extreme than Roe versus Wade. And Iowa isn't alone in trying to pass an amendment to the Constitution. 4 other states have restored legislative authority. Iowa needs to follow the example of these states and put creating law back into your hands, our elected legislators. This amendment will simply restore our state constitution back to what it was. It will not prohibit abortion, but rather allow our elected representatives and the people of Iowa to make decisions regarding the health, safety, and well-being of its citizens. Because without the Protect Life Amendment,
If you could wrap up, please, you're out of time.
there is no protection for women and unborn children from abortion. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we miss anybody? Is there someone in the room that would like to speak against House Study Bill 41? Very well. Next up, Joan Thompson. You still have a 15-second sign, correct? We will hold up a sign that says 15 seconds when you have 15 seconds left. To be fair, we need to wrap up within that 15 seconds, okay? All right, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joan Thompson, and I'm speaking for the Iowa Catholic Conference in support of the amendment. We recognize that each person is created in the image and likeness of God, and this is a question of the common good. Our faith informs our position on the moral injustice of the Iowa court's decision, but it is science and biology that inform our knowledge of prenatal life and the reality of abortion. It is not faith that is required to oppose abortion, but facts. And we can assist women without recourse to its routine violence. We believe the public policy of abortion on demand offends both faith and reason in a just society and dismisses our obligation to protect the lives and the dignity of all. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck Hurley.
Thank you very much for promptly prioritizing this necessary bill. By now, we've all heard all the arguments about abortion. We don't need to rehash them, but there is one truth most Iowans instinctively know. That little child in her mother's womb, she's a baby. But in 2018, a handful of unelected judges pushed on Iowa a precedent that could make killing babies legal to the day of their births and making we Iowa taxpayers pay for them. I don't remember voting for that. And these unelected judges concocted a supposed new constitutional right that no Iowan voted for. They effectively amended our Constitution. As a lawyer, I can tell you judges aren't supposed to do that. So I urge you to give we the people our voices back, pass the Protect Life Amendment, and allow the people of Iowa, not extremist judges, to determine reasonable abortion regulations that actually protect women and children. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Laura.
Good morning. I'm Laura Lennox, and I'm the founder and director of Restored by Grace, an organization created to help women, men, and families recover from the pain following abortion decisions. Thank you for making this a priority this year. I witnessed firsthand the heartache an abortion brings. I had an abortion as a teenager, something I deeply regret. Now I listen and help others who have been deeply scarred by abortion. We must continue to fight for the women and children of Iowa and protect them from expanding abortion even to the point of birth and making Iowans pay for it. I hear awful stories from young women who share the horrors of R-486. Iowa needs reasonable abortion restrictions to protect women like me and the women I work with every day. We can't allow 5 men in black robes to silence women like me and turn Iowa into a wild west of unrestricted abortion. We need the Protect Life Amendment to give us our voice back. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim.
Good morning. My name is Kim Lowey. I am the Director of Life Ministries for Lutheran Family Service. An inappropriate ruling by judicial activists intentionally tied legislators' hands, rendering it virtually impossible in the absence of a constitutional amendment to legislatively impose any reasonable restriction on abortion. Though the bulk of both pro-choice and pro-life advocates oppose it, late-term abortions for any reason, even up to the point where the mother is literally in the midst of delivering her child, could not be outlawed in Iowa at this point without a constitutional amendment. Without HSB 41, Iowa's current ban on abortion's 20-week post-fertilization is at imminent risk of giving way. The collective outcry against late-term abortions and infanticide is growing exponentially as the populace comes to understand just how heinous these procedures are. To the supporters of House Study Bill 41, on behalf of Iowa's exquisitely vulnerable preborn children, I thank you.
Thank you. Denise. Has anyone come in the room who would like to speak against the bill? Okay. Denise.
My name is Denise Bubeck. I'm representing the Church Ambassador Network of the Family Leader. Thank you, representatives, for holding a subcommittee on HSB 41. Our state has a rich history of valuing human rights. Probably, Iowans have the most per capita underground railroad homes. We have always valued the dignity of all human life. Look around our Capitol Rotunda. It is dedicated to all the abolitionists who believed in ending slavery. They too believed in the need of a constitutional amendment. In the Church Ambassador Network, we look at each issue from the lens of the Bible. The Bible is not silent on preborn life in the womb. Isaiah 44:24 says, "This is what the Lord says, your Redeemer who formed you in the womb. I am the Lord, the maker of all." Just as many Iowans helped in one way or another with the Underground Railroad, Many were driven by the conviction of their faith. They prayed and hoped for the passing of an amendment to abolish slavery. Today I'm asking you to stand on the right side of history and give dignity and protect life to these who are most vulnerable by passing HSB 41, this amendment to our state constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Shelley.
Good morning, I'm Shelley Pitts, representing Iowa Right to Life. On behalf of Iowa Right to Life, we want to thank you for making the Protect Life Amendment a priority this session. We appreciate your hard work to give we, the people, a voice when judges abuse their power to rewrite the Iowa Constitution. Thank you for your work to protect mothers and unborn children from efforts to expand abortion up until the day of a baby's birth and make Iowans pay for it. We strongly urge and encourage you to pass the pro-life, Protect Life Amendment because that defenseless, innocent child in her mother's womb, she's a baby and she deserves to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Sonny. I'm a family leader. On June 28, 2018, the Iowa Supreme Court issued a radical ruling for unelected justices, issued a radical ruling more extreme, as extreme as any in the country. Two justices, Justice Mansfield and Waterman, dissented, and I'd like to read from Justice Mansfield's dissent. Foregoing accepted methods of constitutional interpretation, the majority opinion instead relies on an undertone of moral criticism toward abortion opponents. Yet the majority ignores that which is far more relevant, the text those framers actually approved and what they said concerning the meaning of the text. Here, the majority has used the living Constitution as a way of erecting a strict scrutiny barrier to legislative action without reference to the constitutional text or history. No one can reasonably question the legislature's power to impose waiting periods before Iowans begin or end a marriage or give up a newborn baby for adoption. So why can't the legislature impose a waiting period before an abortion? Nevertheless, with its decision today, the court has elevated one extreme of this
Daniel,
debate.
you're out of time. Can you wrap up? You can take a few seconds to wrap up.
The court has elevated one extreme of this debate to a constitutional level and has made any meaningful compromise on this issue all but impossible. I wonder if the majority is laying a groundwork instead, perhaps a stepping stone toward a ruling that Iowa's Medicaid program must fund abortions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Danny Carroll.
Chairman Holt, members of the committee, this republic is built on a firm foundation of self-government. It recognizes the sovereign power of the people to govern themselves. Those people delegate that power to certain elected officials, such as yourself. However, they have chosen to reserve certain powers to themselves. Among those they have withheld from elected and appointed officials is the authority to amend the Iowa Constitution. They did not make it easy, but they did see fit to allow for a process that does involve elected citizens, like this committee, and thus we have House Study Bill 41 before us. This amendment should be passed, should be put before the people, to, if nothing else, to restore the integrity of the Iowa Constitution between a right balance where the people amend the Constitution and not a few unelected judges. In my opinion, this amendment should be on the ballot and passed because Iowa should defend life, because an unborn child is a baby. Thank you.
Thank you. Nate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to come before you today to say thank you. Thank you for working for all of the unborn, voiceless babies that will have an opportunity to be protected by restoring the order as it was in 2018 to our Constitution. I also want to say thank you for protecting the Iowa Constitution from overreach by unelected judges. Both of these issues are very important, and I don't think it's any accident that one of the greatest, if not the greatest, moral question of our time, will we protect the innocent in the womb that have no voice, is overlapping with one of the great constitutional crises of our time, the overreach of our courts into matters of legislative prerogative. I thank you for defending your prerogative, and I thank you for defending the unborn.
Thank you. Tim?
Now it's on. Thank you, members of the committee. My name is Tim Oberlin. I'm the Executive Director of Personhood Iowa. I'm going to echo a lot of what was just said and try to keep it short. One, thank you guys for taking this up early and getting this out of the way. As Nate just stated, I think it's very important that we do return, whether it's the life issue or whatever the issue is. I think your role has been advocated too frequently and too often to the courts, and this is the right time to start taking it back on an issue that's this important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rick?
Good morning, I'm Rick Remaker. I'm a citizen of the state of Iowa. I'm not here representing any organization, but only myself. I also commend the legislature for taking up this issue early and sticking to it. The important thing that's before us right now is that we do protect all life in the state of Iowa, and that we do protect what the Constitution is predicated on. And the Constitution, at its very foundation, is predicated on our faith in the one who created us all, and in the order that he has put in this creation. So if we allow that to be overrun, then we are allowing chaos beyond our imagination. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brian?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Brian Dowd. I am with the Iowa Right to Life Committee. I think the issue here is the overreach of the Iowa Supreme Court. The scales of justice are a symbol of the impartiality of the courts in general, including the Iowa Supreme Court. In their decision in 2018, they have essentially put their thumb on the scale. It is this error which should be corrected here. And that's why I appreciate this committee for taking up this amendment to the Iowa Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll let the representatives of the subcommittee speak. We each get about 2 minutes in order to keep with our time constraints. Representative Wessel-Kroeschell, would you like to make any comment?
Sure. I didn't know I was limited to 2 minutes until just this moment, so I'd like to make that clear. I want to talk about how this is so early in session to be considering a constitutional amendment, which was basically just printed. I am not impressed with how you have not worked with me to find an adequate or a good time slot for me to meet with you and the public on this important issue. This is just kind of beyond the pall, in my opinion. If we truly valued all life, including those who are above 60, myself included, we would all be wearing masks at this table because we know that masks will protect all of us. And I am so sad to see that that's not happening here. We should be talking about our increased maternal death rates. We should be talking about access to prenatal care. But instead, we're talking about taking away the most basic of freedoms, and that's to health care for women who are seeking it. I'm going to quote former Chief Justice Cady when he said, "Autonomy and dominion over one's body go to the very heart of what it means to be free. At stake in this case is the right to shape for oneself without unwarranted government intrusion one's own identity, destiny, and place in the world. Nothing could be more fundamental to the notion of liberty. We therefore hold under the Iowa Constitution that implicit in the concept of ordered liberty is the ability to decide whether to continue or terminate pregnancy. Today, we are recklessly considering an extremist amendment which curtails a woman's most basic freedoms. This amendment denies a woman her freedom to make one of the most personal decisions she will ever make. I trust Iowa women to make the right decision when it comes to their health. The constitutional amendment is more than insulting to women. It is dangerous to a woman's health. The constitutional amendment is dangerous. It includes the word abortion. It is a loss of freedom for women. Women will die. Our Constitution should be a document that can withstand the test of time and not one that includes medical procedures. We cannot be a state that would deny a woman autonomy over her body and expect young women to want to live here. This amendment is reckless, it's insulting, and it diminishes the value of both women and mothers in Iowa. I am so sorry to be here today.
Thank you, Representative Osmundson. Would you like to make any comment?
Yes, thank you, Representative Holt. I guess I disagree with Representative Wessel-Kroeschell that the most basic freedom is health care. I think the most basic freedom is life. Actually, this bill is not necessarily about life. To me, it's more about the judges overstepping their bounds, taking away the freedom of Iowans. I think we need to put it back into the hands of Iowans. As we see here today, I believe there's a majority of Iowans that don't want to pay for other people's abortions, that don't feel like abortion is a correct way to go about things. So this amendment allows the people to have a voice. I believe that's a very important thing for the people of Iowa.
Thank you. So we're about to wrap it up, but let me respond to a couple things Representative Wessel-Kroeschell said. First of all, Representative, I believe I'm properly socially distanced based upon the guidelines that we were given. I have a mask here and I wear it all the time when I'm not properly socially distanced in this chamber. You want to talk about insulting. I will wear this mask when it's appropriate to wear it. I'm properly socially distanced, and so I think your remarks are out of line. I would also tell the public, since you chose to bring it up, that you were offered 1 hour time slots for this committee on Thursday, and you were offered a 1 hour time slot at 8 a.m. this morning, which you initially agreed to and then backed out of. We have a lot of work to get done on behalf of the people of Iowa on the House Judiciary Committee. We have a lot of priorities, and I'm not going to allow those priorities to be held up when we have a lot of work to do. So again, for the record, you were offered 1 hour time slots. We have to keep moving. We have a lot of work to get done. I believe we need this amendment because the people of Iowa and not unelected judges of the Iowa Supreme Court should decide how Iowa regulates abortion. We need this amendment because without it, we could see taxpayer-funded and late-term abortion in Iowa, as was stated by the minority opinion of justices on the Iowa Supreme Court. So it's not just me saying that, it's members of the Iowa Supreme Court. Most Iowans instinctively know that there's a baby growing inside of a womb, but now a handful of elected judges have created a precedent in Iowa that could lead to making it legal to kill a baby up until birth and make Iowans pay for it. Once again, the amendment reads to defend and protect unborn children. We, the people of the state of Iowa, declare that this Constitution does not recognize, grant, or secure a right to abortion or require the public funding of abortion. There are more than one life at stake when we're talking about abortion. There are 2 heartbeats and 2 souls. And we have a process to amend the Constitution, which in the Katie decision was ignored. I will advance this bill to the full committee of judiciary. Thank you.